Finally, a Disney live-action remake flopped and flopped hard. The Disney adults could not save them this time. Snow White is on a track to lose Disney over $100 million and is being review bombed all across the internet, with the 8th worst IMDb score of all time of any movie, like ever. 1.6 out of 10. That's worse than Dragon Ball Evolution and Cats. According to Google, 7% of people liked this movie. Now, are people being a little dramatic? Are they more so making a statement about the lack of creativity and awareness, more so than actually thinking it's a bad movie? Maybe. But you won't see me complaining. Ever since live-action Mulan, 5 years ago, film critics have been saying, hey, these movies lack charm, creativity, energy, and understanding of what made the original movies great. What may have once been a well-meaning project 15 years ago with Alice in Wonderland had long since been a cash grab. But guess what? People still went to see them. Just 2 years ago, The Little Mermaid was a hit. And so even though the writing was on the wall that on average, since Lion King, they've been slowly making less and less, there was a reason to believe that a huge name like Snow White could turn an audience. Nope. They finally learned. And I couldn't be happier. Because this sends a message. It shakes the very reason with which Disney makes these. They're safe. There's going to be an audience no matter what. You see, making an original film is a risk. There's no known property, known characters, songs, jokes. People have to be taken out of their comfort zone. But while Pixar, DreamWorks, and countless indie or international studios have been able to balance making continuations as well as original works, Disney, out of 90% of their effort in remakes, sequels, and like maybe the last 10% into making Wish. And what's so cathartic is their hands are tied. They've gotta swallow their luck and pray that Lilo and Stitch is able to grab at people's nostalgia a little more effectively. Because this is a bad look. But why have people finally woken up? What about this movie in particular got everyone this upset? Well, they all tie to the fundamental design reasons that make animation to live action remakes uninteresting, multiplied tenfold by the fact that so much of Snow White's appeal as a film is that it's animated. It's Disney's first full-length feature film from 1939. It's historical. Its charm comes from the way it's hand-drawn, bright, classic, aesthetic blends with a fairy tale narrative. Basically, you can't give Snow White a smartphone and a hoverboard and call it new and improved. The very visual style that is the hand-drawn classic is the story. It's what makes it an appealing classic. The concept was doomed from the get-go. Quite simply, nobody was asking for this fairy tale to be expanded, reworked, rewritten. In the same way, I don't hear people saying, you know, what happened to the big bad wolf after he failed to blow down the brick house? Let's expand upon that. No! Fairy tales are simple stories. And that's why every writing decision from, oh, let's give the evil queen more lines on an already not interesting actress in Gal Gadot, to let's introduce 7 bandits along with 7 dwarves and make Jonathan have a major role. If you were going to remake Snow White, which again, I don't think is necessary, but if you just had to, why not make it animated? Like, fully animated. Disney made flash animation shorts of Mickey Mouse and friends, and guess what? They're really good, because they capture a comedic charm that is possible when exaggerating Mickey's movements with animation. Question: can you imagine a live-action Mickey Mouse? No! Ew! That's horrible! It would all be like furry and distorted. Ew, no. Okay, we agree on that. So why the hell did you do that to the 7 dwarves? Look at this thing. It's hideous. It's just uncanny. The eyes are weird. The skin is all wrinkly and detailed. Dopey looks like an alien with his big eyes and ears. I just know the designers were in the 8th layer of hell trying to come up with a CG model that would fit them. Like, I would not wish that design job on my worst enemy. But beyond drawings, the alternative was to cast real short people, and that wouldn't work either. Yeah, you're right. It was lose-lose from the get-go. Look at these design changes. You are inherently taking far more bouncy, stretched, unique-looking characters and molding them into boring or uncanny live-action versions. It inherently takes away their personality by limiting their movement to move and create expression. Look at the way the 2D dwarves react. Look how their bodies bounce and their eyes widen. Look at the CG version. It's not even close. They can't move in the same way. It's not even a fair comparison. Let me ask you something. When Warner Bros. Made Space Jam, you ever think they thought to themselves, maybe we should make Bugs Bunny and Daffy and Porky realistic-looking CG models with animal fur and duller colors? No! They kept them animated, despite being a partially live-action film. Because that would have destroyed the entire point of the Looney Tunes. I'll be honest, in terms of the story itself, there's not much to discuss. Again, they take longer in the exposition. Snow White has a lot of confrontations with the queen before she leaves, which I don't remember in the original. The 7 bandits are a thing, but they do not that much. Yeah, I don't know. Other than the mediocre acting, the film doesn't really give me much to say. It's like in a board meeting, they were like, what if instead of 7 dwarves, there were 7 bandits? And they were like, okay, what do they do? And he was like, you got me there. It's like 20 minutes longer than the original, and most of that is just kind of meandering at the beginning. Now, like I said before, is the movie actually bottom 10 all time? No, it's probably not even that close. In terms of being comically bad and screwing up the original stories, it probably doesn't deserve to be lower than Dragon Ball Evolution. There are plenty of pretty shots with cool lighting, big grand shots of the castle. They have these like minecart action sequences, which are basically the equivalent of jingling keys in front of the audience, but goddamn, there's some pretty keys. It's not literally a horrible movie, but it doesn't have to be. People spend $15 to see it in a theater and feel like their time was wasted. Like their intelligence was insulted, assuming you wouldn't tell the difference between a landmark in cinema and a cash grab that's not even able to grab cash. What do you even call that? A cash grab that loses cash. A cash drop? Yeah, that's this movie, a cash drop. This movie wanted to have different plot elements from the original, not because it had something different to say, but because it needed an excuse to exist. Certainly, you should probably start with an idea, then have a desire to make that movie, as opposed to deciding you're going to make a live-action Snow White, and then having to come up with some sort of way to differentiate it from the original. And, I don't know. What do you think? Will Disney make less remakes? Probably, yes, but not because they feel guilty or have learn the error of their ways, but, because financially it would be a really dumb thing to do. To be honest, they might just make 10 different Moana and Frozen sequels, considering Moana surpassed $1 billion at the box office. So, not totally out of the woods. But I do kind of just want to applaud the average consumer for a bit, for, waking up and choosing violence. Peaceful protest. Voting with your dollar makes a difference. So, we'll be optimistic, but we'll see. Oh, and before I go, guys, follow me on Letterboxd. I got plenty of movie reviews that I'd like to tell you. Okay, that's all I got. Like, subscribe, and bye!